What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where I keep you up to date with everything going on here in our country. The fourth stimulus package updates, daily news, money, investing, the stock market, the U.S. economy, inflation, everything you need to know about on a daily basis. Remember that new videos come out here on our YouTube channel at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new videos. It's completely free to do so. And if you find these videos helpful, don't forget to smash the like button for us down below. Also, I will have a special guest appearance for you guys at the end of this video. So make sure to watch all the way to the end for a special Christmas guest. There's been a lot going on here. Major news here. If you didn't catch the video before here, the Senate has passed a major vote here to literally prevent our country from defaulting the debt limit or the debt ceiling.
The Senate has just taken the first step to avoid the nation's first ever default on its debt. They voted to advance a bill that would temporarily suspend the filibuster and allow a simple majority vote to raise the debt ceiling. I promise you, we're about to translate that into plain English for you. Democrats needed at least 10 Republicans to go along with this. They actually got 14. I want to bring in Sahil Kapoor, NBC News national political reporter who's on Capitol Hill. Jake Sherman, Punchbowl News founder, MSNBC political contributor, and friend of the show is with us as well. Sahil, so number one, explain what just happened in regular human terms, right? Number two, is this crisis averted? Is this it?
Hallie, this was the most significant hurdle to clear because this is the only part of the debt limit process that needed Republican cooperation. It needed 10 votes in the Senate. It got 14 Republican votes in the Senate. Now, the bill still needs final passage in this chamber. That's likely to happen sometime between now and tomorrow morning. After that, it goes to President Biden's desk. Once he signs it into law, it triggers this process, this fast-track process where the Senate can pass a debt limit increase with a dollar amount with a simple majority. There's no filibuster allowed, just this one time for just this one purpose. Then, of course, it goes to the House, and once they do that, it goes to President Biden's desk. They can do the whole thing within a day in the Senate, and that gives them enough time to meet that December 15th deadline and avert default. Now, Hallie, it's hard to overstate how absurd this whole process is because this is Congress creating a complicated, circuitous process to perform a simple task. Everyone agrees, almost everyone really, that the debt limit needed to be increased, but Republicans didn't want to put their fingerprints on it. They want to run against Democrats in the 2022 elections. So they created this mysterious process to minimize their fingerprints. Democrats, on the other hand, they're aware that Republicans are going to do this. One Democratic aide suggested that if the Republicans run against Democrats on that, then Democrats will just turn around and say that those Republicans who voted against this bill support Medicare cuts because those would be switched off in this bill. This is Congress at its most absurd, Hallie. And by the way, I should say, Democrats are planning at this moment, according to two sources I spoke to increase the debt limit by somewhere between 2 and 3 trillion. The idea being to get them through the midterm elections.
So again, we can somewhat breathe a sigh of relief. They still have to do the final vote, which has not yet happened as of the time of recording of this video. I will keep you up to date. That could happen still tonight or tomorrow. I will keep you posted. If you read the comments in the last video, literally hundreds, if not over 1,000 comments at this point saying, thank the Lord we didn't default and we didn't see the delay of Social Security payments, child tax credit payments, interest payments, bond payments, and the crumbling of our economy. Again, that was the major vote that needed to happen. There is still the final vote that needs to happen in the Senate, but remember, that was the hard vote that needs to happen. I'll keep you posted here when the final vote happens here as well. Could be tonight, could be tomorrow. Also today, the FDA authorized the Pfizer booster shot for 16 and 17-year-olds, and the CDC signed off on the booster shot for 16 and 17-year-olds as well. So those are now available, booster shots for 16 and 17-year-olds for the Pfizer version only. So Moderna and Johnson & Johnson may be coming here in the future, but Pfizer is now available here as of today. Pfizer also says that they will submit the full data on their COVID treatment pill to the FDA here in a few days. Their CEO says this is a pill that you would take after you catch the virus and test positive for treatment. This pill is called Paxlovid. Paxlovid and reduces hospitalization and death by up to 89%. 89%, Pfizer says here. Um, so yeah, there's another pill on the market as well, and Pfizer says reduces it by 89%. They submitted an application to the FDA last month for emergency approval of this treatment. But they apparently still need to submit the full data to the FDA, and they are going to be doing that here. They said that they have a very high sense of urgency on this as well. So I will keep you up to date here on this. Also, some really big news came out here just a few hours ago that could lead to some additional stimulus money, stimulus checks, stimulus programs, or even tax cuts for Americans on the state level. You can see this headline here: flush with cash, states planning big cuts to taxes. Yeah, if you've been watching my show, you know that I've literally almost on a weekly or even daily basis in some cases are announcing state stimulus checks, county stimulus checks, city stimulus programs. There's multiple different states doing stimulus check programs right now. California, $600 stimulus checks, $1,100 stimulus checks. If you have children, 27 million people about are getting stimulus checks in the state of California, making under $75,000. The state of Maine is sending out $285 stimulus checks. The state of Illinois is considering or trying to pass $200 for individual and $400 stimulus checks for married filing jointly couples. We just had the state of Tennessee announce a $950 stimulus checks for certain households with children. We also had the state of Michigan just announce a kind of stimulus program, like a refund type program for residents with cars, $400 per person per car. And so if you have 2 cars, it's $800. If you have 3 cars, it's $1,200. And we're seeing all these states that are kind of flush with cash right now. And remember that all the states got a share. Each state got over $1 billion with a B. Cities and counties also got their own share of money as well, that is separate from the state money. Cities and counties get to decide how to spend their own money, separate than their governor. The governor and the state doesn't have the say in their matter. The cities and counties get to decide how they want to spend their own money separately. And about 70 or 80% of the money is still available. In fact, most of these states, cities, and counties are going to be deciding how to spend their money for 2022 when they do their 2022 fiscal budgets and stuff going forward this year. So believe me, most of this money is still available. And that's kind of where this headline comes into play. Yeah, flush with cash. States are planning big cuts to taxes. So we're going to probably see money go back to the people in the form of tax cuts, as well as stimulus checks and stimulus programs here going forward, as all these states have a lot of money. Yeah, here, state lawmakers are preparing to convene legislation sessions in the new year, are confronted with a scenario unlike any most of their predecessors have ever experienced. Budgets that are flush with cash after a year of record-setting surpluses, plus the billions of dollars they received from the third stimulus check package. Across both blue and red states, they are just in time for midterm elections. Legislators and governors are making plans to lower rates and cut tax bills. Quote, states are doing so much better than they were at this time in 2019. A lot of state budget officers are seeing projected revenues growth for the next couple of fiscal years. So while it's important to be cautious about revenue, make sure they don't run out, states are back on the growth trajectory that they were on before the pandemic. A lot of states are looking for ways to become more attractive to workers. The cuts have already begun, tax cuts. A dozen states so far this year have introduced measures to reduce corporate or personal income taxes. And a 13th, Arkansas, will consider cutting rates in a special session. Another half dozen states added tax exemptions for federal stimulus money or unemployment payments or reduced property or service taxes. Yeah. The governors of Minnesota and Wisconsin property taxes increases, but signed budgets that ultimately cut taxes. Only 5 states, Florida, New York, New Jersey, Washington, and Missouri, raised or created new income or sales taxes. The property cuts next year go beyond income taxes. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly and Virginia, a Democrat, and Virginia Governor elect Glenn Youngkin, a Republican, have both proposed cutting taxes on groceries as well. And some states have already enacted longer term plans that will phase in cuts. North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper, a Democrat, and Arizona Governor Doug Ducey, a Republican, this year signed budget deals that will gradually reduce tax rates over a series of years. The budget Cooper signed, passed by a Republican controlled General Assembly, was not entirely to his liking, but he approved the package and said he wished the cuts had been directed elsewhere. Minnesota's Department of Management and Budget said Tuesday the state had $7.7 billion in extra money. Missouri's budget surplus will top over $4 billion. Utah and Rhode Island expect to have an additional $600 million each. Idaho officials say they have $1.4 billion in extra money. Iowa closed the books on its last fiscal year with $1.2 billion surplus. Quote, we've got to send money back to the taxpayers, said Iowa State Representative John Willis, a Republican, the House Speaker pro tempore, who said he expects the already huge surplus to grow. Quote, I'd like to see us go down on a flat tax and maybe even start pointing ourselves to no income tax, which some states do have no state income tax. Quote, in California, budget officials expect to have a whopping $31 billion in a state surplus. So maybe California could have even another state stimulus check. So much extra money that the state could be forced by law to give billions of dollars directly back to taxpayers, aka another state stimulus check could happen. California Governor Gavin Newsom said that surplus allows us to do unprecedented things in California, and that is invest in you, like state stimulus checks, like they already did. Everybody would like to say that was because he was up for the re-election, but realistically, they could send another stimulus check. So just be aware that this is happening in a lot of states, and a lot of states are sending out stimulus checks right now. Some states are considering longer term changes to tax codes that could have ramifications years down the line. Kansas Senate President Ty Masterson, a Republican, said he wants to see wholesale changes to the way his state implements new taxes, along the lines of the taxpayer bills of rights that passed in places like Colorado in the 1990s. He says, quote, I would personally like to see some taxpayers' protection passed just along the lines of requiring a supermajority for tax increases, Masterson said in an interview. There's just the broader sense that you should just cut taxes across the board. More people paying lower tax rates instead of these precise tax cuts. So tax cuts for everybody. Now, really, these are just really the state surpluses that they're all talking about. Multiple different states they're talking about. And really, this is not even talking about the stimulus money that has to be spent in certain ways. Okay. This is kind of the state coffers as well, talking about tax cuts. Okay. We honestly are going to see a lot more states send out state stimulus checks, state stimulus programs as well going forward. I'm going to keep you up to date on all this. If you've been watching the show, if you're a regular viewer, you know that pretty much almost on a weekly basis, we're seeing state stimulus checks. universal basic income, guaranteed basic income, rent assistance programs, utility assistance programs, mortgage assistance programs, literally on a weekly basis here on our show. I'm going to keep you up to date on all these different type of programs here because there's a lot of them. And as the New Year's ticks over here, which is only a few weeks away, there's going to be a lot more. Everybody always thinks about the main stimulus program here, the federal program, and the main stimulus check, but there's really a lot more. I have literally had thousands and thousands and thousands of people that have gotten rent assistance alone with just that one program. There's also the new mortgage assistance program that is really just kind of opening up now. There's $9.9 billion of homeowners assistance that each state is kind of opening up now. 9.9 billion is dollars, 9.9 billion that is dispersed from the federal government to the states. Most states are opening it up about now. Some states kind of have a waiting program. They have a wait list, but they're really pretty much opening it up now, or maybe opening it up here in January. I have links down below in the description of this video, or I'll link you to that here at the end of this video. Next up here is Representative Katie Porter on the next stimulus package, the main one that everybody thinks about. But remember, that's really just one of kind of all these next stimulus package. But here is Katie Porter on an update on the stimulus package.
The Build Back Better bill, which the House has passed, it's now pending in the Senate. The committees are doing their work on it. We don't know exactly when the Senate will be ready to move on it. The point you're making in that video is that you're reminding us about where this legislation began as two parts of the same Biden infrastructure approach.
No, absolutely. This is President Biden's agenda to make sure that we have a strong, stable, globally competitive economy. And to do that, we have to make investments. And those investments are in all of the things that help us create jobs, make workers able to go to work, and make sure that we're able to compete for the next generation of jobs. So that means everything from investing in roads and bridges and cybersecurity to investing in green energy jobs to the people who do that work, investing in things like early childhood education, bringing down the price of prescription drugs. And so I think that what I tried to do was really use the concept of building blocks, like those childhood blocks with the letters on them, to help people see that all of these things put together are what's going to build that strong, stable, globally competitive economy, not just next year, not just for President Biden's term, but for decades to come.
So Joe Manchin has said some things at a Wall Street Journal conference about this. He said he's worried about inflation. He didn't say that he's not going to vote for the bill, but he said this about, let's listen to what he said about waiting to see exactly what's in it. Let's listen to what he said.
We haven't seen the final text on it. So for me to speak on it, to say, yes, I could be for this, or no, I'm not going to be for that, or you need to change this or that, until I see the legislation. It's hard to say that.
That seems to be the way he's been approaching this all along. So do you have any notion in the House about when the Senate will be moving on this?
Well, I can only say I hope soon, because literally I get up every day and I ask myself that same thing. When will the Senate deliver for the American people? I will say that I think that the work that we did in the House, putting together this bill, educating the American public about it, is really building toward the pressure and the leverage and the momentum that the Senate needs to act on this bill. So, we've heard a lot from Senator Manchin that he doesn't know, that he's waiting for the parliamentarian, that he's waiting for the bird bath, that he's waiting for the text, that the day is going to come when this bill is going to come to the floor. And I very, very much hope that we see not only Senator Manchin and others vote for this, but we see Republicans step up and vote for this. Because like I said, every American benefits from having that strong, stable, globally competitive economy. And as you know, Lawrence, I represent a district about equal numbers of Democrats and Republicans. Everybody is going to benefit from this stronger foundation for our economy going forward.
We just had candidate Kuntz on, who's running for Senate in Missouri, talking about how when we passed bills for what ended up being hundreds of billions of dollars of spending immediate spending in Afghanistan, infrastructure spending, by the way, in Afghanistan and Iraq. It was never questioned. No one was asking CBO to study anything about it. No one was worried about what it might mean for inflation anywhere in the world, what it might mean for defense spending, what that might do on inflation in this country. None of that. It just flew through with no attention to detail whatsoever, as defense spending bills generally still do.
No, look, I think we have to start holding ourselves to account for every dollar that we spend. And there's no exception to the need for oversight, for accountability, for careful study, for careful and thoughtful use of our taxpayer dollars, just because those dollars are going to defense or are going to national security. All of those dollars are tax dollars that families are paying. And what they're asking the government to do with that money is to protect our country, protect our society, and protect our economy. And so I absolutely think that we ought to be holding ourselves to the same standard, whether that dollar is going out the door for national security or whether that dollar is going out the door, for example, for public health. And that's really what I've tried to do with putting a lot of emphasis on oversight. I think our government can and must help solve problems, can and must help keep Americans safe from everything from coronavirus to national security risks. But with that belief that government can help us comes the responsibility to make sure that at the end of the day, those dollars are doing exactly that.
Yeah, so let me know your thoughts in the comments. That has been a very big thing here going forward as they're working towards also finalizing the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Bill, to fund the military, which is like $770 billion, coupled with a Competition Act as well, which is kind of an add-on addendum, which makes it close to $1 trillion. They bring up a good point. That's $750 billion, or almost, you add on that add-on bill, it's $1 trillion. It's $1 trillion this year just for 1 year. Okay, or it's $750 billion without that add-on bill every single year for defense. And don't get me wrong, my brother was in the military. You need defense, but a lot of people are questioning. We're not in Afghanistan anymore. Shouldn't we be spending less? We're actually spending more than we were last year. That's what a lot of people are asking, anyways. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. So I'll keep you up to date here. Let me know your thoughts. Remember, new videos come out every day. Make sure to subscribe down below. It's free to do so. New videos come out here on our YouTube channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Subscribing is completely free. Okay, here is our special Christmas guest, my son Julian, also known as Hurricane Julian. Yeah, he never runs out of energy. All right, say hi.
Hi!
Show everybody your PJs. What does that say there?
Santa's Little Helper.
Yeah.
Look at my new pants. And I show everybody my new pants.
They can see them right there.
No, I just have to get up.
Yeah, and what's on your pants?
Tree!
Christmas
my little
trees.
darlings.
Yeah, and want to show everybody these new candies we've been having?
Dad.
What are these new candies we've been having?
A lipstick and a lipstick.
Huh?
A lipstick and a lipstick.
They're called Hershey's Kisses.
Hershey's Kisses!
Yeah, and what flavors are they? Do you remember?
Vanilla and chocolate.
That's a good guess, but that would be wrong. This one is candy cane, and it has pieces of candy canes in it. Say, ooh.
And what's inside this one?
This one is a sugar cookie, and it tastes like a sugar cookie too.
So go call.
Which one do you like better? Say, nom, 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 nom.
Nom.
Which one do you like better? You like the sugar cookie one better, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's show everybody this one. Say, Say, look at that one.
That one.
That one looks good, huh?
Can you put it down?
And then let's show everybody this one. This candy
and we can
cane
eat
one.
Down too.
This one's really cool. Look at that one. Hold on, show everybody here. Look at that one. Wow, look at that. Isn't that the
I can
coolest
eat
looking
this
candy
one by
ever?
I can eat 2 of them.
You can eat both of them. Have you been a good boy?
No, 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 no.
Santa knows if you've been good or not.
I'm good.
Say, okay, it's time to go eat candy.
Okay, time to eat candy.
Can you say bye-bye to everybody?
Bye-bye.
Say, we love you.
Love ya.
Say, we'll see you in the next video.
See you in the next da-da-da.
In the next video.
In the next da-da-da.
And say, click here to watch my next video.
See you in the next video.
And say, click here to watch my new video about Social Security increases.
So my next booty do.
Say bye, we love you.
Bye-bye, we love ya.